Speaking of rockets going to Mars, what's going on there? Elon Musk and his company SpaceX, they had a bit of an issue the other day. Not just a bit of an issue, it was a pretty big issue actually, and that is that SpaceX's prototype rocket called Starship, it was SN10, serial number 10. It had a successful landing for the first time ever. First time ever this had a successful landing for a high altitude flight. It went to 32,800 feet, returned, landed on a concrete pad, and it landed, it did everything it was supposed to do until about 8 minutes after. And 8 minutes after, you can see right here, it landed nicely. It was a great flight. But 8 minutes after it landed, things went wrong, let's just say. So it was like a good news, bad news situation, but it landed. Everyone was very excited. This was the first time it ever landed successfully. But you can see it was still smoking for a while after, and it makes sense. There's so much energy, so much power in these rockets to get them to fly to space. But then that happened. It just exploded. Luckily, no one was hurt, but that doesn't look good at all. I mean, if I'm looking at that, I am shocked that no one was injured. It's very lucky that no one was injured, because that thing has a lot of energy behind it, and it just shot shrapnel all over the place from a massive, massive rocket that's the size of a building. And it just exploded into millions of pieces. So the funny thing about this story, there's nothing funny about, a rocket exploding. But the thing that I find amusing is with Elon Musk, he never calls it an explosion. But looking at that video, it's obvious that thing is an explosion. I mean, who can say that this isn't an explosion? Look at that. Who can say that isn't an explosion? I mean, Elon Musk, all he says is that he doesn't call it an explosion. He says it's a rapid, unscheduled disassembly, an RUDs. And I find that so funny. This is obviously an explosion, but he's like, no, it's a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. He's like, we didn't schedule it, but it disassembled very quickly. And it wasn't an explosion. I mean, maybe it's just a positive mindset. Maybe he doesn't want to think it explodes. I don't know, but it's obviously an explosion. He calls it an RUD, a rapid, unscheduled disassembly. Either way, good news was it landed successfully, first time ever. Bad news was it exploded. But they are going to be getting more rockets out very, very soon. That was serial number 10. They have an SN11. That's going to be ready within the next couple of months. We're going to see another rocket do another test run, get, back up into space, high altitude. They're just constantly testing these things, constantly getting more and more rockets built, because they're trying to perfect it. And the only way you can perfect anything is trying it time and time again, working out the tweaks. That's what they're doing with these rockets. And it was a successful mission. They did a lot right there, but it did explode. So ultimately, I would say, bottom line is, it did what they wanted it to accomplish, landed successfully, but it did explode. So in my book, it seems like a failure still. They called it a success, but it seems like a failure, because if there was someone actually in that, they wouldn't have made it. It wouldn't have been good. Luckily, there was no one in it. It was all, controlled remotely, but either way, that was a very, very interesting story from Elon Musk, his company SpaceX. What is going on there? We'll be looking to see another rocket out pretty soon.